Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Angela, we will start sharp at 10 o'clock. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Sir, shall we start, sir? Vice Chancellor, sir? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello, sir? Am I audible?
You are audible. Give me 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. 5 minutes I will.
I think VC sir is on the way. Just 2 minutes, Angela. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Registrar, sir.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Voice is not clear. Hello?
My voice? Hello? Is it my voice?
So you are clear, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Angela, sir has joined. Sir?
He is
Huh?
he is joining. He is joining. Within 1 minute or so, he will join.
Okay.
Within 1 minute or so.
I already joined.
Yes.
Video.
He joined. He joined. See that?
It was there.
Okay, now go on.
Okay, sir. Good morning, one and all. A warm welcome to all the esteemed members of the administration and everyone gathered here to the inaugural ceremony of the third edition of the Professor Dr. N.R. Madhava Menon National Parliamentary Debate that has been named after the very prominent legal luminary and the father of modern legal education, Professor Dr. N.R. Madhava Menon. The Society for Literature and Debating is enthralled to host yet another edition after having two successful editions in the year 2020 and 2021. We are very glad to host more than 220 participants, both national and international, over the course of 3 days. I now invite our beloved Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash, to give the welcome address.
Thank you and good morning to all. I hope I am audible.
Yes, 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 sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning to all participants. Professor Madhava, Registrar in Charge, Professor Rajendra Prasad Garu, Dr. Soma, and all her teammates who made this Professor Dr. N.R. Madhava Menon National Parliamentary Debate Competition, the third edition. And I forgot to say, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Professor Dr. N.R. Madhava Menon. So this debate competition was named after a great legal academician. And in fact, he was awarded a living legend of law during his lifetime. And he has rightly said that Professor N.R. Madhava Menon is considered to be the father of modern legal education. So here, what is the importance of debate competition? My colleague, Sir K. Madhusudan Rao, he will explain. And here I would like to share a few things about Professor N.R. Madhava Menon. I am fortunate that I am associated with him at NUJS Kolkata when he was a Vice Chancellor and when he was the Director of National Judicial Academy Bhopal, and myself too, NLIU Bhopal, and our association, it continued for a long time. And as you know, that there is his biography, The Turning Point, the story of a law teacher. For the first time in the academic history of academicians, a professor wrote about the biography of another professor. So this happened for the first time, and I am fortunate being his disciple. And why Professor Madhava Menon, he was so important in the, because when studying law, it was the last resort for students. Suppose if someone who do not get a seat in a BA, become BSc or MBBS somewhere, then it has become a last resort to join in law. From that situation, he transformed the legal education that were serious takers, those who want to become legal professionals. And after 12, undoubtedly, joining in a national university has become the most sought after in the field of higher studies. So this transformation, it was made possible only because of Madhava Menon. And my personal association with Professor Madhava Menon is a strict disciplinarian, and he has come from very humble background where he lost his father at an early age of 3. And his mother, she was given a compassionate appointment, a very small cadre, something like attender or LDC. And why I am saying these things? Because he is a person, a self-made person, no grandfather, no godfather for him. And his humble background, he never wore chappals till he completed his LLB. LLB when he joined in the legal profession. He did so many sundry jobs in his struggle for life. And when I was sitting with him in the backyards of the director lawns, so National Judicial Academy, if you get an opportunity, don't miss it. It is one of the best places where the judicial training takes place, and also the state-of-art buildings, and particularly the director's bungalow and the greenery and the scenic beauty of the Bhopal. And when I learned that this man has contributed a lot, and even he sacrificed his personal life, and while staying in Bhopal, in Bengaluru, he lost his teenage daughter, not because there is a, that's how, and his work-mindedness. After the funeral, again, he came and worked in the office till late night. I asked him, sir, why? So, Surya Prakash, what to do? Anyway, it's a very unfortunate incident, but sitting and crying at home, at least I can divert. So, he's a workaholic. And as I said that even he struggled to have 2 square meals during his childhood. And you can see many such things in his biography. When I learned all these things, then I thought that for the future generations, they should learn about this man who is an inspiration. And I saw with my own eyes while he was walking in the corridors of National Judicial Academy from his director's room to the conference hall. I saw many judges bowing to him and touching his feet. Judges means High Court judges and so even Supreme Court. So he was one of the tallest personalities in the field of legal education. And this will give an opportunity. So to all the participants, my dear students, he has seen many arts in life. So such wonderful persons and personalities will give an inspiration to us. So there could be so many adversities in life. There will be so many ups and downs in life. And we have to take everything evenly, and we should move forward and with a fixed goal. And he was, after retirement, he was invited by Jyoti Basu to start another law school. He said that it's my time is over, but still Jyoti Basu said that, sir, if you are not going to come, I'm going to come to Trivandrum to invite you. Then he went there, and then his awards, his medals, his honors, and it would be very difficult to say in a few minutes. So anyway, I tried to just explain an epic into an epigram and conveyed you. So my friends, so we have to take inspiration from such great personalities like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Professor Madhava Menon, and such persons. And this competition will give us an opportunity to remember such great personalities. So with these few words, I welcome all the participants coming from different schools, my dear students. It would be, hopefully next time we'll have the physical competition on our beautiful campus. My students will be there, and I invite all the students from different parts of India and also a couple of teams from abroad to this competition. And remember that debate does not mean to win over or to silence the other party. We should have a strong point. When we explain the strong point, that it becomes a debate. Okay, anyway, my colleague, Professor Madhusudan Rao, he will explain you more things. And with this, I welcome and I'm grateful for giving me this opportunity. And I wish that this program should be offline at least next year. I welcome you once again and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful words. I now request Ms. Soma Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor of Law and Faculty Advisor, to give a brief introduction to the event.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, esteemed Vice Chancellor, sir, Registrar, sir, Professor Rajendra Prasad, sir, and all the members and guests who are here. I will just give a brief introduction about this entire program, how it will be conducted on 10th, 11th, and 12th. So we have 80 participants, both national and international, and 80 participants are divided into 20 rooms. Each room comprises of 4 teams, and each team comprises of 2 members. And precisely 1 member will get 7 minutes to speak. Now there will be an adjudicator who will move the motion, and the entire debate, the success of entire debate depends upon the nature, understanding, the deliberation on that particular motion. Now, the interesting part of this entire debate is that not only the adjudicator will judge the teams, but teams will also judge the adjudicator. So, we will start today with the prelims round, then there will be qualifying rounds, and the finals will take place on 12th June. So, with this brief introduction, I welcome all the teams, and I just wish them that they enjoy debating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I now request Professor Dr. Madhusudana Rao, Registrar Sir, to throw some light on the importance of parliamentary debates.
Thank you, Angela. I think I am audible to you. Am I right?
Yes,
I
sir.
am audible to you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Surya Prakash, Professor Rajendra Prasad, Professor of Eminence, my dear students, Ms. Soma Madam ji, good morning to all of you. Today, the issue before us is the importance of parliamentary debates. Why we are discussing this today means, hopefully, India has adopted parliamentary democracy in our country. So there are certain reasons for this. At the time of framing the constitution, the framers of the Indian constitution were of the opinion that the previous constitution, known as the Government of India Act 1935, has adopted parliament system in India. It worked for a considerable period. In the process, the people are habituated for this system. That is the main reason why the parliament system of government is adopted in India by the present constitution also. And there are many other reasons for this. But the primary reason for this is people are already habituated for this type of governance. Now, for flourishing as well as for fluctuating the parliament system of government in the country and thereby democracy, because democracy may be there not only in the parliament system of government, but even in the presidential system also democracy is there, just like in USA. So how this is going to be fluctuated or fructified? The issue here is, what are the merits of this system? How we have to make the system effective for the effective functioning of the governance? Now, the first requirement is we must have sufficient legal structure for implementing this parliament system of government, thereby for a healthy debate in the legislatures. The legislative debates or parliamentary debates always throws light on the issues that are confronting the society. If you open a constitutional law book, an eminent writer may say that the functions of the parliament comprises of the control of the executive, deliberation and discussion, control of the public finance, and then constituent power. So in this way, they explain theoretically. If they explain theoretically, whether there is any legal structure for the purpose of effectuating all these ideals or not, that is most important. Supposing if X says that Y is corrupt, Y may go to a court of law against X. Thereby, the freedom of expression is affected. When freedom of expression is affected, how to criticize the government even? Now there is a debate going on in the country whether Section 124A of IPC must be there or it should not be there. I'm not going to enter into that area. So because if you criticize the government, they are invoking one particular section which is a more harsh than the ordinary restrictions. So in this context, what is the legal structure provided by the Indian legal system? We have Article 19(1)(b) and C. Article 19(1)(b) guarantees freedom of assembly. Article 19(1)(c) guarantees freedom of association. Many jurists are of the opinion that Article 19(1)(b) and 1(c) is the lifeblood of democracy. When it is the lifeblood of democracy, it must be allowed to prevail. That is the reason why specifically the framers of the Constitution have provided Article 19(1)(b) and C. If Article 19(1)(a) is for the purpose of freedom of expression, then 19(1)(b) and C is for the purpose of conducting assemblies and for the purpose of forming into associations. All the political parties now, they got the right under Article 19(1)(c). And these political parties can can conduct many number of meetings in the form of assemblies, which is guaranteed by Article 19(1)(b). When this structure is provided, if the legislators want to discuss these issues on the floor of the House, are they having any special rights or not in this regard, or special freedoms in this regard? We have Article 105 and 194. Article 105 provides for privileges and immunities of the members of the Parliament and members of any committees thereof. And Article 194 provides for privileges and immunities of the members of the state legislatures and any committees of the state legislatures thereof. Thereby, on the floor of the legislatures, there is freedom of speech and freedom to publish its own proceedings. These are specifically guaranteed by the constitutional provisions to ensure free and fair and honest discussion on the floor of the House. With this, we have sufficient legal structure protecting the parliamentary debates in India. Then, how the parliamentary debates are influencing the decision-making process in the government? When once a policy is introduced into the legislature, then there will be opposition parties who are raising their voice. And they may point out the lacunas in the decisions, whether the decision is in public interest or whether the decision is for the purpose of implementing the ideology of a particular political party that is holding the government at that time. So all these things are to be discussed threadbare in the legislature itself. Thereby, there is every possibility to take qualitative decisions which are meant for protecting the public interest and serving the social interest in the society. Thereby, qualitative decisions can be made through parliamentary debates. Likewise, we have representatives, elected representatives, and we have bureaucracy. And this bureaucracy is also known as the babus. And it is very difficult to control babus as well as elected representatives. One fundamental thing which the parliamentary debates normally achieves is they control the executive as well as elected representatives of the people, whether they are MLAs or MPs, whether they are ministers in both the governments. These people are to be controlled through the debates in the floor of the House. Likewise, in the interpretation of statutes, we have one concept known as FAVAX preparatories. Legislative Assembly debates or parliamentary debates or Constituent Assembly debates, and the relevancy of these debates in the interpretation of statutes. Why the court is interpreting the statute? To know the intention of the legislature. If you want to know the intention of the legislature, many number of permutations and combinations as well as criteria can be undertaken by the court. One such thing that the court normally takes into account is the Legislative Assembly debates or the parliamentary debates or the Constituent Assembly debates. So the Constituent Assembly debates throws light on the intention of the legislature in enacting a particular law. And if any word is not clear there, and if this word is not defined in the definition section of the law, that particular law, then if there is any discussion went on in the legislative, in the Constituent Assembly or in the parliamentary debates at the time of enacting this law, this discussion can also be taken into consideration by the court for the purpose of determining the intention of the legislature. Thereby, judicial review is made easy because of a sound parliamentary debates. That is another benefit. Likewise, we have discussion on public issues. The government keeps quiet sometimes. In most of the cases, the governments are keeping quiet so far the public issues are concerned, because they may involve a lot of expenditure which the government may not have. So somebody has to ventilate these grievances, raise these issues on a public forum. The concerned forum meant for this purpose is the parliament or state legislature. Consequently, all the public issues can be discussed before the people by the people's representatives, either in legislative assemblies or in the parliament. And another most important thing is one has to ensure accountability. At the time of framing the constitution, we have implemented responsible government in our country. What is the responsible government? A student was asking sometime that, sir, if a bill is introduced into the Indian Parliament, and if the bill is vetoed, means bill is not passed, then the government has to resign in India. Whereas if the same thing happened in USA, and the bill introduced by the secretaries are defeated on the floor of the Congress, the American president need not resign. Why? That was the question posed by a student, an LLB student, 10 years back. The reason is we have responsible government in our country, whereas in the USA, the concept of responsible government is not there. Even if all the bills are vetoed, the American president safely can continue for 4 years. Whereas in India, it will not happen. The government of the day has to go out. If a bill is introduced by the government, is vetoed by the parliament or the state legislature, the government of the day has to go out. The reason is Article 75, Clause 3. The Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the lower house of the legislature. Similar provision is there at the state level also. It means responsibility has to be ensured. For this, we have to develop a system. So this system or this kind of responsibility or accountability can be ensured if there is sound parliamentary debates or legislative debates. Day in and day out, in the parliament and the state legislatures, some discussion is going on concerning the behavior of elected representatives or the behavior of the government or the behavior of the government officials. If you observe the thing in the newspapers, day in and day out this is going on. This is nothing but the process of ensuring accountability to the people by the legislative, by the elected representatives and by the bureaucracy. Likewise, whether we have faith in the elected democracy or whether we have faith in this parliamentary democracy, it is doubtful. Why? The reason is that the governments of the day are not behaving up to the expectations of the people or up to the expectations of the system. For example, when Mandal Commission agitation was there in the country was totally, when VP Singh government, at that time the government has decided to implement the Mandal Commission recommendations, virtually the country was divided into two categories, pro-Mandal and anti-Mandal. Judges were, the lawyers were divided into two categories, and the public representatives were divided into two categories. Politicians were divided into two parts. In this way, the entire country was divided. When it was contested before the court, and the court issued the stay order on this, and then when the court has accepted this, saying that it is a part of the governmental obligations under Article 15, Clause 4 and 16, Clause 4. Mainly this Mandal Commission case was decided under Article 16, Clause 4. Then there was no this public disorder. Why? When the elected government implemented a policy, then there was a lot of chaos, public disorder in the country. If the same was announced by the Supreme, validated by the Supreme Court, there is no disorder as such. The people have accepted. The government, the society has accepted. What I mean to say is, not those issues. When the society has accepted the judiciary as their soul or as their conscience, why not the same society which elected the government is not believing the government? Why? This is the reason where there is a need to have this confidence of the people in the parliamentary system. How? The discussions that are going on in the legislatures, whether it is parliament or state legislatures, these must ensure that people have faith in the system, and the people's faith must be retained through these debates and discussions. If one discussion is made on a particular day, and in the next day it is published in the newspaper, and the people start reading the newspaper, they must have the faith that somehow the parliament system is flourishing well or is functioning well, and hence there is no need for us to get fear of the present day activities. That kind of faith must be retained by the parliamentary system through these parliamentary debates and discussions. With this debates, the efficiency of the parliamentary system and the government can be increased. Always, if the unpopular decisions are taken by the government, because government has a majority, one problem with regard to this democracy is, if the government has a thumping majority, more than two-thirds majority, then the government will behave more worse than a dictator. That is the reason why, simply because a government has a majority, you should not believe the government always. Let there be a proper debate on the governmental actions. So ultimately, the entire governmental system has to be improved only through the legislative debates. Why we are totally depending upon legislative debates and not outside means, outside, if you comment anything against a person or against a representative or against a government official, then you are subject to the consequences of law. The defamation law will enter into the picture. If you do the same, if any MLA or MP does the same in the legislatures, then they are not answerable to any civil and criminal courts because by virtue of Article 105 and 194. That's the reason why we have more faith and we have more desire on the parliamentary debates and the legislative debates for the purpose of making the governments effective in realizing the objectives underlying the constitution. With these few words, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for this giving me this opportunity. Over to Angela.
Thank you so much, sir, for those enlightening words. This brings us to the end of the inaugural ceremony. I hope all the participants have a great exposure over the course of the debate. So without further ado, I request Professor Dr. Masood to give the expression of gratitude.
Thank you, Angela. At the outset, I express my heartfelt thanks to Professor S. Surya Prakash, Vice Chancellor DSNLU, for giving welcoming orders on this event. And I express my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Soma Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor and Faculty Advisor DSNLU, for introducing the event on this occasion. I thank all the participants, my student friends, who are very much eager in participating in these issues, and I wish you all the best. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, we can't hear you, ma'am. So, no, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, now we can.
Yeah. So with this, we conclude this particular program, this inaugural session, and straight away we will go to briefing session, right?
Yes, ma'am. After a while,
Yeah.
we'll start the session
you.
immediately. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants, students, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.